Conceive, believe, achieve.
This is former UFC middleweight champion of the world, Michael Bisping.
Paddy the Baddy here. You're listening to Combat Sports UK.
And you're watching Combat Sports
My next guest is coming off another win, this time against Zac Pauga, UFC Fight Night, June 17th. It's Modestas Bukauskas back here on the program. Modestas, how are you, man?
Yes, doing very well. Thank you, sir. Thank you for having me on again.
Hey, always a pleasure. And you just told me you got back home. When did you get in? Because I know you're battling a little bit of jet lag right now.
Yeah, so we got back. What even day is it? I have no idea.
It's,
but we got
it's
back
Tuesday. Yeah, it's Tuesday, just so we're keeping track.
Yeah, so we got back yesterday on Monday. Well, the reason why I don't even remember that being a day was because I probably slept for most of it. Yeah, we had a long flight, and then yeah, it was pretty much like I say. I just didn't keep track of any sort of time or anything like that. But yeah, all good, all good. The main thing is we're back in the homeland. So yeah, getting back to normal routine now.
And it's much better flight when you're coming off a victory like you had in this fight. What was the game plan going in against Zac? Again, I know you had a full camp for this one, but do you feel like you executed your game plan in this one?
I don't actually. I feel like I made a lot of errors. I watched it back. There was a lot of things that I did good, but there's a lot of things that I didn't do so well as well. You know, in terms of the boxing, I like the check. Certain things that we were working worked really well, but then there was other things that I needed to adapt a little bit more on the fly, which I didn't do, and I didn't use a lot of my kicks. So, you know, there were certain aspects that, like I say, I wasn't really too happy with, but at the same time, I was happy that I was able to get a lot of counter shots off and you know, land the hands, which was actually a big part of the training. So, you know, the things that we did good, we did good. The things that we didn't do good, we didn't do good. So, you know, overall, it was not the best performance, but it was a performance enough to get the win, which is all that matters.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's a W on your resume. Do you think that's because of the opponent you fought? Do you think it was you? Like, why do you think that things didn't go according to plan, kind of looking back since you've rewatched the fight?
I think maybe I was focusing a lot on shoot boxing. I had certain training partners have injuries, and then I had certain things that, you know, you kick something and then you can't use your legs anymore. And then I ended up doing a lot of shoot boxing, which ended up being, you know, predominantly what I use in the fight. Yeah, I mean, and also he kind of adapted his game plan. I think one thing that we focused on worked really well was we weren't allowing him to get me against the cage, which is where he wants it. So I did not allow him to do that. But then it became a bit of a fist fight, and he used the blitz really well, which he didn't really do before. And one mistake I was making was when he was blitzing, I was kind of leaving my chin up a little bit, where I should have had. I usually have a tighter guard, but people don't normally blitz me like that. So. Like I say, I was used to a different type of thing. So you know, I mean, look, at the end of the day, he done well. He done well with his attributes. He changed up a couple of things, but I definitely thought I had the upper hand with the hands. So you know, I just could have used more kicks and stuff like that. But you know, these are all things that I know that I can take from this fight and use it to become better in my next fight.
How are you feeling going to the judges' scorecards? Because you've been on the wrong end of a decision before against Olashaychuk. So what was going through your head?
It was the same like the Tyson Pedro fight. I felt like I'd done enough to win, but whether the judges were going to give it to me, I didn't know. Again, someone gave a 30-27. I think, you know, you could definitely see there being reasons for me winning all 3 rounds, but at the same time, you probably see more reasons for there to be a 29-28 scorecard. So I would have felt that, you know, all 3 judges probably I would have felt they would have had it all 29-28 to me. But when they said that first scorecard, I'm like, you know, in terms of damage, I felt like I had more damaging shots. He landed, don't get me wrong, he clearly he landed. But I just felt the shots that I landed had more impact, you know. They pushed him back more. They really made him, you know, wobble or get his head put back a bit more. So I felt that in itself would have given me, you know, more on the scorecard. But yeah, at the end, I knew it was very close. So I wasn't gonna sit there and be like, oh, well, it's definitely got to go to me, because obviously, you know, Vegas, and I've been on the wrong end of a decision before. When they said it was unanimous again, I was like, it could have went either way, but I'm glad that they gave it to me.
And anytime there's a close fight, there's always people, you know, saying robbery and things like that. It's just the nature of the sport. How have you dealt with that? Because I'm sure you're getting a bit of that on social media. How do you filter all that out?
Well, 100%. But I mean, you can't really call it a robbery when it's a unanimous decision. Do you know what I'm
Right.
saying?
No,
Like when,
for sure,
when
for
these,
sure. I just know whenever there's a close fight, like people always say, like people throw the word robbery around like they're giving out candy at the grocery store or something. You know what I mean? Like it's just I've seen a little bit of that, and I didn't think it was a robbery. I thought it was a really close fight, right?
yeah, so that's why I don't pay attention to it. I'm like, oh well, you call it a robbery, but it's when if it was a split decision, I mean, but even then you can't call it a robbery either. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like just looking at the fight, I watched it back. I'm looking at it even from more of a neutral standpoint where I'm thinking, what things do I need to improve on? What things did I not do so well? And stuff like that. And I still think I won the fight. So yeah, when people chat a load of garbage, again, it just puts more eyes on the fights and stuff like this, and it brings more eyes. Whether they love me or hate me, they're gonna watch me, and that's what you need in the fight game. So, whether they love the performance or thought I lost, well, cool, come and watch me to see me lose. Then, either way, it's more eyes on me, and that's what helps us earn more money. So, thank you to those people.
Now, you said there, again, you're in the win column here, back-to-back wins in the UFC. First time that's happened, man. That's got to be feeling good, though.
Oh yeah, it's amazing now to be 3-3 in the UFC overall. I've definitely staked my claim as being one of the best fighters in the world. I'm still feel that I've got a hell of a lot more to prove if I want to be contending for the title and stuff like that. But I'm definitely taking my time. I'm going to work my way up the ranks, keep improving my skill set, and at the same time, it's all about performing on the day and making adjustments on the fly and stuff like this. So it's definitely amazing to get 2 wins back to back. But of course, I just want to keep building on that. So the goal here is now to obviously keep extending the win streak.
Did you get to enjoy yourself after the fight? Like, did you get to celebrate at all? Did you get some good food or anything?
Do you know what the only annoying thing? Well, definitely on the food aspect. As soon as I've gotten home, I've just decided to eat anything and everything in sight. But I'm kind of ready to get back into training to offset some of the damage that I've already done. And I'll probably have a couple of dates lined up, and I can't be looking chubby for those now, can I? But yeah, no, do you know what? I've kind of after the fight. You kind of feel invincible in every aspect. You kind of feel like, oh, well, I've just won a fight. So that means I can drink absolutely everything. And that's exactly what happened. We went out, my client, some clients I have in the UK, they came to watch me fight and they organized something for us, like an after party. And yeah, I basically was on the wrong end of a load of drinks, which
so you had a 10-8 round against the alcohol that night.
Yeah, exactly. And I was out for the count, mate. My head was down a toilet for half the night. So and I had my dad and my coach Danny having to pick me up and drag me to the hotel room. So yeah, I mean. After that, I was like, I'm never drinking again. But obviously, right. Obviously that's the old famous saying. So, but yeah, I'm ready to get back. Look, like I said, I'm ready to get back into training, get back into feeling a bit more normal because I still don't feel normal.
Okay, fair enough. At least you got to celebrate. I remember last time, what was it, the Cage Warriors fight? It was too late, so you guys couldn't go out, right? Remember you telling me that?
Yeah. So at least I got to go out there and actually have a bit of a drink and enjoy myself because it was quite early in the day. But yeah, I definitely need to try and figure out a better game plan, even for the outside of the cage procedures.
There you go. When do you want to fight next? Do you have and I know you want to fight in front of a crowd. That was something we talked about beforehand, right?
Yeah, 100%. So I'd like to fight on a European card. I'm guessing just by the way things are going to go, it'll probably be at the end of the year, which is not a bad thing at all. Yeah, I just want to fight in front of a crowd, fight in Europe, and fight somewhere at the end of the year, and just keep building on my skill set and keep getting better and keep racking up those wins. Any
opponents in mind, or you just kind of leave that up to your management and coaches?
Yeah, I kind of leave that up to my management, especially now. Outside of the top 15, you kind of pick them off one by one. Anyone outside the 15 outside of the top 15 is a potential opponent, and we've got to be working our way up the ranks. There's guys that have fought, guys that have got fights that are lined up, and yeah, they're all going to be a potential opponent. So I don't overlook anyone, and I'm ready for whatever they got to bring to me.
You got anything planned the rest of the week? Because I'm sure you had the fight there. You got to enjoy yourself with obviously your clients and everything else. But anything planned back in the UK? Any nice dinners? You said you have some dates coming up or something. You were saying?
Well, I joke when I say dates. To be honest with you, mate, I feel like with me and the way that I go about things, I think I'm just gonna focus, like I say, a lot on myself and building stuff outside of the cage, like in terms of businesses and stuff like that. I really want to, build something for outside of fighting, because as you can see, there's going to be a long break in between fights and stuff like this, so you really need to work on that. So yeah, of course, I like to enjoy myself. I like to hang out, have a good time, see friends, see people, and just like be around people that I enjoy hanging around with. But at the same time, you got to create stuff outside the cage. So that is definitely something I'm focusing on, and I've got to give a massive shout out to Iridium Sports Agency. They took such good care of me when I was out in Vegas, and they continue to do so. And I know they're going to be a massive help going forward to all these ventures that I'm going to be pursuing.
Excellent. And making time for interviews, Modestas. Always appreciate it, my man. Yeah, we're looking forward to what's next. If there's anyone you want to thank, you just mentioned your management. Anyone else, any social media, anything like that, I'll give you the last word.
Yeah, so MODYB24 for the Instagram, at Baltic Gladiator for Twitter, same on TikTok. Yeah, obviously just got to thank BST Academy, Danny Batten, Lucas Klinger, Raymond, my dad, Will Curry, Prometheus Combat, Hodge Grace's Academy, Ari Estefanmez and Pure Jiu-Jitsu, Distinct Physio, always helping out. Yeah. I really got to give it obviously a massive shout out to Stephen. I know I mentioned him in my post-fight speech, battling motor neuron disease, but what an absolutely amazing fella, and he's grabbed some really amazing content. So I'll be really looking forward to see some of the stuff that he's come up with. So that's absolutely amazing. And the Coachellas and Paul Stain also, they came out to watch me in Vegas, and they provided a massive energy boost for me out there in the cage. So I've got to really give a massive shout out to them, and just all my training partners, all my close people, all the people that have been there for me since day one. I love you all, and yeah, onwards and upwards.